The sky, once ablaze with the fireworks of freedom, now choked under the suffocating blanket of swastikas. From the shattered remnants of London to the silent streets of Paris, the jackboot marched. The world, once vibrant with hope, now trembled under the iron fist of Nazi rule. Gone were the democracies that once championed liberty, replaced by the cold, calculating machinery of the Reich. The air, thick with the stench of fear and oppression, carried the echoes of broken promises, the echoes of fallen heroes, the echoes of a world that could have been. In its place stood a monstrous monument to tyranny, built on the ashes of dreams and the blood of innocence. The once familiar sounds of laughter and music had been replaced by the chilling drone of propaganda, a constant reminder of the Nazi regime's absolute power. The faces of children, once bright with hope, now bore the weight of a future shrouded in fear and uncertainty. The world had fallen, and darkness had prevailed. The fall began, as many tragedies do, with a whisper. A rumor of unstoppable panzer divisions crashing through the Ardennes, a shadow falling over the once impregnable Maginot Line. France, the cradle of liberty, fell first, its proud spirit broken under the weight of overwhelming force. Across the English Channel, the beacon of hope flickered as the Luftwaffe rained fire upon London. The Blitz, a symphony of destruction, shattered the city's resolve, leaving scars both physical and psychological. The British spirit, though battered, remained unbroken, but the island nation stood alone, its lifeline to freedom severed. The final blow came from across the Atlantic. A surprise attack, swift and brutal, crippled the American fleet at Pearl Harbor. The sleeping giant, caught off guard, reeled from the unexpected assault. Though America entered the war with characteristic fervor, the delay proved fatal. The combined might of the Axis powers, bolstered by early victories, proved too much to overcome. Gone were the vibrant colors of a free world, replaced by the stark monochrome palette of fear. The swastika, a symbol once associated with ancient spirituality, now cast a long, dark shadow over every aspect of life. The streets, once bustling with the energy of diverse cultures, now echoed with the goose-stepping rhythm of conformity. Children, their minds molded in the image of the Reich, saluted with chilling enthusiasm, their innocent eyes reflecting the distorted reality presented as truth. Textbooks, rewritten to glorify Nazi ideology, painted a grotesque picture of a world divided along racial lines, with the Aryan race at its rightful apex. The radio, once a source of entertainment and information, blared a constant stream of propaganda, glorifying the Führer and demonizing his enemies. The cinema, once a medium for escape, churned out films that glorified war and celebrated the virtues of obedience and self-sacrifice. Behind the facade of order and prosperity lurked the chilling reality of the Nazi regime's iron grip on power. The Gestapo, the feared secret police, operated with impunity, crushing any hint of dissent with brutal efficiency. Their network of informants and collaborators extended into every corner of society, ensuring that no whisper of opposition went unheard. The SS, the elite guard of the Nazi Party, served as both protectors of the regime and executors of its most horrific policies. Their black uniforms and skull insignia became symbols of terror, striking fear into the hearts of those who dared to question the Reich's authority. The machinery of control extended beyond the instruments of terror. The media, the education system, the arts, all were tightly controlled, used to disseminate propaganda and quash any dissenting voices. The Nazi regime understood that true power lay not just in physical force, but in the ability to shape the very thoughts and beliefs of its subjects.
Yet even in the darkest of times, the human spirit refused to be completely extinguished.
In the hushed whispers of defiance, in the clandestine meetings held under the cover of darkness, the seeds of resistance were sown.
Ordinary men and women, their hearts filled with a yearning for a world free from oppression, risked everything to fight for a better tomorrow.
Some took up arms, engaging in acts of sabotage and armed resistance, striking blows against the symbols of Nazi power.
Others fought with words, spreading messages of hope and defiance through underground newspapers and clandestine radio broadcasts.
Artists, writers and musicians used their creativity to subvert Nazi ideology, injecting slivers of truth and humanity into a world suffocating under a shroud of lies.
The resistance, though fragmented and often operating on a shoestring budget, represented a beacon of hope in a world teetering on the brink of despair.
Their acts of defiance, no matter how small, served as a constant reminder that the human spirit, even when broken, could never be truly extinguished. Section 6. The heavy price of silence. The Nazi victory came at an unimaginable cost, measured not just in lives lost, but in the very soul of humanity. Millions perished in the camps, victims of a twisted ideology that deemed them unworthy of existence. Jews, Roma, homosexuals, political dissidents, all were targeted for extermination, their lives deemed expendable in the pursuit of a racially pure utopia.
The world bore witness to this horror and remained silent. Fear, apathy, and a chilling indifference to the suffering of others allowed the Nazi regime to carry out its genocidal policies with terrifying efficiency. The weight of this silence pressed down on the survivors. The guilt and the trauma, a constant reminder of the darkness that had descended upon the world. The world they inherited was one scarred by loss, haunted by the ghosts of those who had been silenced.
Section 7. Scars on the soul. The world, forever altered by the Nazi victory, limped on, its spirit broken, its dreams shattered. The scars of war, both physical and psychological, ran deep, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace and the seductive allure of hatred.
The children, born into this new world order, grew up with the stench of fear and oppression clinging to them like a shroud. Theirs was a childhood robbed of innocence, their dreams twisted to fit the narrow confines of Nazi ideology. Even those who had not experienced the horrors of the camps firsthand carried the weight of the world's collective trauma. The knowledge of what had transpired, the sheer scale of the atrocities committed, left an indelible mark on the human psyche.
Section 8. Lest we forget. The world, forever haunted by the spectre of the Nazi regime, vowed to never forget the lessons learned. The horrors of the Holocaust, seared into the collective memory of humankind, stood as a chilling testament to the depths of depravity to which hatred and intolerance could lead.
Never again became a mantra, a solemn promise to honor the memory of the victims by fighting against the forces of hatred and prejudice wherever they may arise. Museums and memorials were erected, not just as monuments to the past, but as stark reminders of the fragility of peace and the ever-present threat posed by intolerance. The stories of the survivors, their voices trembling with the weight of memory, served as powerful testaments to the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of bearing witness to the truth.
Section 9. A fragile peace. The world, forever changed by the Nazi victory, learned to navigate a new reality, one where freedom was a precious and fragile commodity. The shadow of tyranny still loomed large, a constant reminder that the forces of darkness were never truly vanquished, merely lying dormant, waiting for an opportunity to re-emerge. The fight for freedom, once thought won, became a perpetual struggle, a relay race passed down from one generation to the next. The torch of liberty, once nearly extinguished, flickered precariously, its flame kept alive by the vigilance and courage of those who refused to let the darkness prevail. The Nazi victory served as a chilling reminder that the price of freedom was eternal vigilance, a constant commitment to fighting against injustice and oppression in all its forms. For in the words of the ancient proverb, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing.